so much for joining me this morning. All right, I'm going to start with no particular order, love and preference, but it's going to be Karan Johar. Is that okay? Obviously, love and preference. Karan, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to start straight off with you. You're known as the maker of love stories. But मैंने आप ही से सीखा है कि प्यार जो होता है वो एक ही बार होता है. But ऐसे हो सकता है, it's not just love between two people, it's also love for your country. And with Sher Shah last time around, you showed us what love for your country could mean. So, giving that context, can I ask you what made you take on Ae Watan Mere Watan?
That truly has grown from strength to strength, and each and every time I've been here, I felt the infectious energy of just pure love for cinema, and that continues. So thank you for all you cinephiles, members of the media, and everyone who's shown up today. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. To answer your question, it was very simple. It's always instinct-based. Whenever a piece of story, a synopsis, a content, or a screenplay comes my way, and then it matches the passion of the filmmaker and writer. The story of Ae Watan Mere Watan is just so inspiring, and I could see the passion in Karan's eyes and Tarab's eyes, who wrote the film along with Karan. And it was an absolutely no-brainer for all of us, for Apurva, me, and all of us at Team Dharmatic, that we needed this story to be told. Like you mentioned, Sher Shah, which was also such a brave story of a brave soldier, Captain Vikram Batra. We have tried at our end to tell some very, very, very true stories or inspired by true events, those narratives that have spoken volumes about our love for our country. Whether it's been Ghazi attack or Razi, Gunjan Saxena, Sher Shah, and now Ae Watan Mere Watan and Kesari. I mean, these are all stories that have been helmed by us at Dharma Productions. And to have a collaborator in the form of Prime Video, Amazon, and someone who I have so much respect for, Aparna, who truly understands what a great story is. And when the story came to both Somen Mishra, who's the head of product development, and me, and Somen brought it to me, and Somen is a powerhouse for us in our company. And he really was so passionate. I met Karan, and I felt like if there was one film Karan wanted to make, and I'm saying this on his behest, and it would be his last, hypothetically, it would be Ae Watan Mere Watan. And I knew that Sara Ali Khan has such untapped potential. You know, she's an unsung hero herself, working relentlessly from the time she's been in the industry, from her first year, coming right out of Columbia and then getting into the thick of the industry, resonated with this girl who actually was fresh out of college and then went on to become a freedom fighter. As an actor or as a freedom fighter, eventually you are fighting circumstances, obstacles, and so much more. And I thought that the role really resonated with Sara, the person she is, the love for the country that she has within her heart, and also her ability to transform into a character with the work she can put in. And that Karan sir will tell you that the work that she has put into this part is Kavil-e-Tareef. So I have to say that we are very excited to be here for the world, and the world is here at this festival to actually just see a very tiny bit, a launch perhaps, of our film that will be out early next year. And I can proudly say it is one of our proudest films, made under the baton of Dharma Productions and Entertainment. When I saw the film, I was moved to tears, and you know, every time I feel the thump of patriotism, it always takes me back to music. Like the music of India. This time when I saw Ae Watan Mere Watan, it took me back to the title song of Razi, which was written so stunningly by Gulzar Saab. Abad rahe tu, main jahan rahu, jahan mein yaad rahe tu. And I feel like this girl's story is all about her passion for her country, that she was willing to give up everything for it. I can't wait for the world to see the film. I can't wait for Amazon Prime to give us a date, and I can't wait for it to eventually be viewed, because this one is special.
I can't wait for Heroes in Saris. Thank you, Karan, for all those women who've been part of our freedom movement and receive acknowledgement this way. Thank you so much. So much to talk about. Oh my God, who do I pick? Okay, so Sara, now, okay, you're right there, that's why. Otherwise, I'll be accused of playing favorites, right? But you look lovely. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Absolute sunshine. Let's take a moment about this. This is your streaming debut. How does that make you feel?
I don't know for sure if that's true.
Hey, come on.
But it's definitely a film that I'm very, very excited for. And I just, we were talking, Karan, so firstly, again, hello, namaste everybody. Thank you for having us. I just want to say that Karan sir said it very beautifully, that I think this is a story that deserves to be told. And the other day, Karan sir and me were sitting and talking about the film, once we finished shooting it. And I think he very aptly put it, that there are so many freedom fighters that haven't been given their due. And when we say due, we don't mean fame. We mean their ability to inspire generations, to lead the country, to lead themselves, to fight against any kind of upheaval. There's just so much history that our country has to offer. I've said this yesterday and I'll say it again. I'm a history student, but I still don't think I can name you more than 25 freedom fighters on a good day. And there are many, many, many more. And the story of sacrifice takes very many forms, There's the bravery and the strength that we can visualize, and you think of Bhagat Singh. But there's also so many unsung heroes, sacrifices that take the form of just personal strength. Valor that's not necessarily physical, but so much mental fortitude required on a daily, consistent basis to fight for what you truly love. And when we talk about love, we have a Qawwali also in the film. And somebody asked me a very interesting question, that usually Qawwalis are, used as the declaration of love, and how is it different in your film? I said, it's not. This is the epitome of love. देश प्रेमी से बढ़कर क्या प्यार होता है? कुछ ही नहीं होता. And I think ये फिल्म वो दर्शाने की कोशिश कर रहा है कि ये जो आज़ादी की लड़ाई होती है, अलग-अलग रंगों में देखी जाती है. There are many forms of it, and I think that through this film we're attempting to showcase just that.
Amazing, thank you. I'll come back to you in just a little bit. A round of applause, please. I think.
Sara is playing a character inspired by Usha. Let me repeat it. So Sara is playing a character inspired by a real life heroine, Usha Mehta. When I say inspired by, what I mean is we have remained true to the essence of actual events that took place around the Quit India movement of 1942, a clandestine radio which was started by young, brave freedom fighters, the main freedom fighter being Usha Mehta. But having said that, we have taken a lot of creative liberties in order to make the story much more engaging for the audience. And that's why I would say what is true is, yes, it's inspired, her character is inspired by Usha Mehta, but it is not based on Usha Mehta.
Thank you. That language clarification is important, and I'm sure that we will take that cue from you, Karan. So for the rest of this conversation, Aparna, to the world, and how beautifully you've done that in the last 2 years. So do you want to, in that context, answer my question, which is, what can we expect from Ae Watan Mere Watan?
Thank you. Thank you for pointing out what a blockbuster year we've had. Starting from Farzi this year and having shows like Made in Heaven Season 2 and Jubilee. We had Johar. We had some beautiful docu-series like...
Just a second. Jubilee, cheers. Please.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Cinema Marte Dam Tak, Dancing on the Grave. It's been a great year. It's also very, very satisfying to know that there is a voracious appetite for all kinds of stories, really authentic, rooted stories. I'm really excited to present Ae Watan Mere Watan. I distinctly remember when the story was pitched to us. It was a cold conference room, 4 or 5 people sitting, and the passion with which the story was narrated by the writer, and Karan sir was there, we were moved. We were moved to tears, and if a story can have that impact in a cold conference room, that just shows the power of the story. I truly believe this is a story, like both Karan and Sara were saying, it's a story that must be told, that has to be told. The freedom that we enjoy today, the independence that we take for granted, there are hundreds and thousands of people who laid their lives to get us this. So many silent warriors, unsung heroes who've got lost in the annals of history must be celebrated and talked about. This story is also about the ingenuity of youth. It talks about the power of communication and how that can mobilize the masses, for a cause. So that's the power of communication. And really, at a tender age of 19, when most people think about their careers and their lives and their dreams, it's a story about these bunch of people led by Usha who are willing to give up their lives, and they're standing up against the mighty British because they believe in a vision of India. It's a beautiful story. I'm really proud of the fact that Dharma Productions collaborated with us, and what an incredibly collaborative journey this has been. So thank you.
We're going to talk about this slightly far away from me. Can you take us through the making of this? Because let me tell you one thing. I've always known Prime Video to tell me that it doesn't matter where you're watching it, you're going to feel that scale. So how do you make sure that a larger-than-life thriller drama, which is inspired by true events, is created with top-notch cinematic scale?
So, good afternoon, everyone. Wonderful to see all of you here. It is very critical to remember that when you're making a period film or a historical film, as this is in a sense, you are true to that form and time that the film is being made in. So we had to be so careful that we are correctly representing the art form, the costumes of that time, and the look is correctly done. And I have to say, Karan sir, his team and my production teams have worked really hard in recreating the South Bombay of 1940s where this film is set, and we had to kind of create the entire pre-independence feel, which was, with buggies, trams. We had to put up these gas lights because the lights on the streets at that point were with gas lights. So it's a lot of work in terms of pre-production and post-production. I have to say the teams have worked extraordinarily well, to give it that look and feel that allows us to identify with the time, the period, and the movement that was there at that point. And so it was very challenging, but I'm really thankful to Karan, his team, our production team, the VFX team, and Amazon Prime, who have been very, very patient and supportive through this whole process. And yes, we have a wonderful film now that's ready.
Thank you so much. Karan, I'd like to ask you, how do you make sure that, the scale of things, it actually goes hand in hand with the vision of the story? So how do you ensure that the scale is not compromised on?
Well, scale is something that is subjective. I mean, it really truly is. Sometimes the scale of the story is so strong, the emotional scale of the story is so that you just have to get your core research and aesthetics right, but the emotional energy of the film will take care of the scale. Scale is not just putting up a massive set. Scale is not just showing like a crowd of 10,000 people. But if your essence of emotion is missing in that moment, then no matter what you do, you will be overcompensating. So I think Ae Watan Mere Watan has a lot of high emotional scale. And the scale is within the narrative of the film. It has the best aesthetics. It has all the right detailing. It has the most, I would say, researched detailing. But when you walk out of the film, you will not take that how big was this film. You will come out saying how big the film's heart is and the film's soul is. And that is always more critical.
It's refreshing to hear that answer in a time where we've all been just looking at things that are bigger than us and looking at numbers that are bigger than us. Thank you. You just bring it so strongly back to story and heart. Thank you for that.
But that is what the essence of any kind of content is, right? If the heart lies in its narrative, in its story, that's where it all begins. The rest is all dressing, right? You can dress it to the best of your ability with the best of teams available, but you will be doing just that if the crust is not there. You will just be dressing. And we've all been victim to that as well, where, today we are told tentpole films, big event films are the only way forward. Then you have a film called 12th Fail that connects with the whole of this country. Where is that scale? Where is that blockbuster stardom? Great actors, great filmmakers can translate into a movement, into an absolutely humongous cinematic movement, and that's what's happened. Every rule has been broken. Process.
See, I'll tell you that, Karan sir said very beautifully that it's a film that's inspired by a real character. But more than that, I think that it's not just about Usha. I think what this film endeavors to do is to tell a story of bravery that should, God willing, be a beacon of inspiration for coming generations in all realms of life. Therefore, the pressure was to be able to portray a character that will connect and will hopefully inspire. So that's the first thing. I also think as far as, the de-glamorous visual is concerned, people asked me that, so how did it feel that there wasn't much glitter and glamour involved? And I was like, not at all. Ratna was the costume designer, and I sat with her and I said, listen, you give me the uncomfortable shoes if you have to. You give me like loose fit kurtas. We don't need like any, silhouette and any of that. Hair, makeup is okay. I've never ever done a film without mascara or nail polish. I kind of am obsessed with these two things. I enjoy them. None here. So it's been like visually also very different for me to be able to do something like this. But like Karan sir said, he spoke as a filmmaker, as a producer, and I'll say the same as an actor. I think that the film's soul is what's beautiful. It's actually not about the mascara or the silhouettes or the nail polish. I think that inner strength and inner beauty is what this film tries to showcase and portray. And that's where the challenge really was. I also feel that I'm a very modern girl. The way that I speak, I'm louder than most girls also. I have a slightly bindas exterior. Back then, that was not the way it was. So I think that working on body language a little bit, containing myself a little bit, channelizing my energy through Karan sir's instructions constantly was where the challenge really was, because Usha's strength is one that we believe is very intrinsic, it's very inherent. और जब अंदर आपको पता होता है कि आप सच बोल रहे हो, आप सत्य के रास्ते पर चल रहे हो, तो आवाज़ ऊंची करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती. वो एक ठहराव अंदर आना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है, and that's what Karan sir helped me get.
Amazing, amazing. आते हैं OTT पर.
The answer to that question isn't the question that is. It's a myth, and I'm really glad that this year especially we've totally debunked it. We started with Farzi, we've had family comedies like Happy Family, Conditions Apply, we've had a Jubilee, we've had a horror show called Adhura, we had Made in Heaven. So we had a multitude of genres, and each one of them, thankfully has worked. In the past, we've put out a show like Forgotten Army. Last year, 2 years ago, we had Sher Shah. So there is a great appetite for good stories that are well told, that are rooted, that are authentic. And I think people enjoy different stories in different times. We can go back and watch a good rom-com, and then another day we'd like to watch a thriller. So I'm really glad that we're putting out all kinds of stories that are hopefully becoming somebody's favorite.
Somebody's favorite, absolutely. And I'm sure that a film like Ae Watan Mere Watan, because it's a unique story and genre, because I can't seem to classify, I can't say just, what would you classify the story?
It's an inspirational story, and I feel it will resonate with audiences not just in India but across the world. And we're really glad that we are going to be putting it out to audiences in 240 countries and territories at the same time. So really excited about it.
I'm excited about that as well.
To be very honest with you, I'm the kind of person that believes in submitting to my director entirely. I also think that, like ma'am said, I still remember that narration. And while Darab sir was narrating and everybody in the room was getting emotional listening to the narration, the passion in Karan sir's eyes was just fire. And I think that the same fire he brought with him to work every single day. So as far as getting into the skin was concerned, it was actually truly just trusting Karan sir's vision and going with it. I also feel that I don't know if this answers your question or if it's irrelevant, but there's a bit of self-doubt in me as a person in general. And it was very important when I came on set for this film in particular, I left that at home. Because that was not necessary, it was not a aid at all here. So I think trusting myself and trusting Karan sir and his vision was the only way that one could really do something like that. And when I said what I said about, mascara and makeup and all of that becomes so secondary if even the set design, for instance, you're walking into this set that looks so real, you're wearing these clothes that you wouldn't ordinarily wear, you are surrounded by actors that are so immersed in that world and being so authentic and organic and true that it isn't actually that difficult to just flow with it. And I think that was what became very, very important.
That we are talking about. So very, very exciting. It's a very collaborative journey. It's a very democratic relationship, and that is what I really, really appreciate. But may I just add one thing to what Karan sir was saying earlier?
And we're thrilled, and Aparna knows it. I think she's one of the most astute, instinctive and absolutely open-minded minds in the entertainment business. And that's why there's been a plethora of content that is so diverse from each other on Amazon, on Prime Video, only because somewhere I think she gets the vibrancy and the versatility of content. And I think that's something that is unique to have. You must understand, instinct is everything. We all operate from instinct as an actor, as a filmmaker, or in the position that Aparna and her team are at. And I think their instincts are solid, and when they love something, they follow it through. They make sure that it is made and it happens to the best. We're always combating odds in any kind of environment. Right now, we will be combating, no matter what, we're getting back on our feet, and we will be combating budgets and all those conversations that are never easy, but it's never at the cost of it's never at the cost. No, because while there is, but in every prem kahani there will be some ladna jhagadna, but there will always be lots of prem in that. And like I will always say, like Amazon is home for us. And some of our best content has been homed and housed by them, and we are eternally grateful. Every time we've met, we actually have a great laugh. We chat about like everything, and then some of the uncomfortable meetings Purva's at. I'm only at the celebrations and the glorious conversational dinners. I never get into a room where we're fighting. I would never want to kind of be in that room either. The thing with Apurva is that he takes on a lot of that, and for that I'm eternally grateful. He told me something the other day, and it kind of like made me like smile and laugh and feel terrible for him. He's like, why am I the one who's always fronting this war? Like, you're sitting there enjoying all the laurels that happen, and he's saying, I'm the one, the bad guy who has to make all these hard decisions, fight for like extra money for the filmmaker and just kind of whatever. And like, he says, I'm always part of the tough decisions. So I was like, I'm not envying you, but I never asked to be there. I don't want to. I have no clue, because like if I left to me, I will literally agree to everything, and then I will get a firing from him at the end of the day. His first instruction to me is when I'm actually in a monetary meeting with an actor or a studio is do not comment, do not commit, do not say anything, keep a straight face. Don't say anything, because I am a habit, like I'll be vulnerable in that moment. I'm like, chalo banate picture, yeah, we'll make it happen. But wo nahi hota na, because I'm only saying it and you're going and you're combating all other issues. But I have to say that, top of our list of love stories, Amazon definitely plays a big part in being on that list, and we're forever grateful because our creative collaboration is actually very, very strong. They go legal, financial, contractual, monetary, ये तो होता रहता है. hum sabke saath hoga. This is part and parcel of, it's what you call, called an occupational hazard. But like at the end of the day, when you're working with such amazing minds, you have to kind of put all that in the back door and say that, let me dig into this brain, because this brain is what really does it for all of us. So we're very, very grateful and very happy. And I know that I have to add to one thing, we've been saying patriotic and this and that. I want you to know as an audience, this film will keep you on your feet as well. It is also a thriller in its end. And I don't want everyone to just think that this is some saga of a freedom fighter, which it is, and a brave one, and a beautiful one. But the way Karan has directed it is the last act of that film will keep you at the edge of your seat. It's literally thrilling as well. And that to me was the big plus of this film, that you can manage that component by telling a patriotic narrative. And there is truly a directorial victory.
Absolutely.
She does. I think I'm really glad and very lucky that not only did I get to do this film, but I also got to do it at the time that I did. I think that, I've grown up a little bit. I've learned a few things about myself. I've also learned that there is a difference between just noise and actual value. And I think it's very important before you portray a character like this to understand that, because you have to rely more on what's within, rather than just find comfort in an attractive exterior. And I think that was a development that had to happen personally for it to be able to translate. But when you ask me why I do a film like this, as an actor I've said this before and I'll say it again, versatility is something that I really, really look forward for. I want to be able to live emotions that I wouldn't be able to ordinarily in my own life. I want to be able to inspire, I want to be able to create. And I think this film does all of that. Right after a film like Zara Hatke Zara Bachke, where I'm like a Punjabi loud housewife, to be able to go back in time and find a certain stability, a therav, a timeless quality. Like Karan sir said, we talk about this being just a story of inspiration, which I really hope it will be. But it is also a very relevant story of inspiration, because there's always some form of injustice. You put it on yourself, other people put it on you, there's societal pressure, whatever it is. Your ability to stand up for what's right after recognizing it is extremely important as an actor, as a human being, as an Indian, as a world citizen. And I think that this film tries to showcase that.
Fantastic. And I wish you luck with all those journeys, personal and professional. Please, a round of applause. It'll be really nice. At this point, honestly, जितना हमने देखा उसके ऊपर 1 घंटा मैंने बात कर लिया है. So I deserve a round of applause, please. Thank you. But we are not going anywhere without closing comments, and that will come from Mr. Johar. Closing comments you'll have to say. So in terms of what you're looking forward to with Ae Watan Mere Watan, what should the audience look forward to? And you're still not telling us when it releases. So thank you for telling us a lot. Aparna?
Stay tuned, early next year.
Well, I think we've said everything. We've expressed the passion behind the film. We've expressed the bravery in the film. We've expressed